In this video, Dan Kirkpatrick, Director of Grief Resources and Education, meets with Katie Bennett from the Neighborhood Cancer Connection of Greenville.
Well, Katie, it's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon and learn about what you do and the organization where you serve. Perhaps you could just introduce yourself and tell us where you are.
All right. Thank you, Dan. I'm always very excited to share about what Neighborhood Cancer Connection does. So I am a licensed independent social worker and have been for over 20 years now. And I found my way to Neighborhood Cancer Connection about a year and a half ago. And Neighborhood Cancer Connection, our mission is to connect people to free integrated services that can meet people's emotional needs, relieve financial burdens, and just equip them for the most successful journey they can have through cancer. And I'm certainly going to focus more on the emotional needs of what we do today, especially in regards to our bereavement program that we have. But I'll tell you more as we go along about this integrative approach, because people that attend our bereavement program are welcome to all those types of integrative services too.
What is your role at the Neighborhood Cancer Connection?
So I'm actually one of the mental health counselors here on staff, providing individual counseling for people through their cancer journey. But we also have many different connection groups, and again, the bereavement group being one of those. And I also do a lot of program development. So that's kind of my side gig and what I do here.
I think that many people used to know the organization by a different name, but it recently changed and you opened up a new location in the past couple of years, didn't you?
Yes, we did. Thank you for bringing that up, because quite often when I'm out in the community, I find that people still know us by our old name, which was the Cancer Society of Greenville County. And so probably about 2 or 3 years ago, we rebranded to Neighborhood Cancer Connection. And then about a year ago, we moved into a brand new building, same site, but brand new building.
It's beautiful. I've been there for a tour with one of the community groups, and you showed us around, and I was very impressed by the beauty of the place, but also the staff that serve there. What are some of the other complementary services that you provide for the people you serve?
Yeah, so I'll focus a little bit on the programming side. I know I referred to that as integrative services earlier, but we really want to have a variety of programs that people can attend to help with their emotional needs. One of those is chair yoga. So we have a chair yoga group that meets once a month, and they're able to use movement in a way to deal with emotional types of issues and feelings. One of my favorite things is an art group that we started hosting, and once a month people come in and just really explore, their feelings and emotions through art. And it can be a lot of fun, and it also can be very insightful for people. And then we have community acupuncture as well, which is known to be good for anxiety and depression, and also pain. So those are just 3 examples I can think of right now of that integrative type of approach that goes a little bit beyond what some people might refer to as traditional talk therapy.
Yeah, thank you. There's one special room that I think many people would find surprising. It's for people who may have lost their hair.
Yes, we do have a wig room that is beautiful. It's beautiful in terms of the lighting, and it has got a great big mirror, and just a really empowering type of setting for people when they have to come in and try on wigs or maybe even headscarves and things like that. Yes.
Yeah. I think that's amazing, because grief is not just a response that people have whenever they experience a death, but sometimes people grieve the way that their body changes when they're going through cancer treatments, and maybe they lose their hair. It alters their appearance, and that can be really difficult for people.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm glad you said that, because we do find that whether people are in treatment or even after they've finished treatment, many times there's grief and loss surrounding the changes to their bodies or their appearance. We have a meditation room. Yes,
Okay.
it's a meditation room that's available for people to come use at any time. And we also have a garden outside that I think is another beautiful space where people can come and sit. And there's a fountain out there, and just a beautiful area full of nature for people to reflect in, or like you said, have a spiritual moment out there as well.
How do people access the services that you provide, Katie?
So in terms of our support group, our connection groups, or any of our programming, it's pretty simple. They can either go to our website, which is nccgreenville.org. That stands for Neighborhood Cancer Connection. And if you go onto the website, there is a little pop-up that brings up a calendar. And that calendar provides either a link to register for certain types of classes, or a phone number to call me directly and register. You do not, the good news is, for any of our connection groups, like our bereavement group, you do not have to register in advance. We've tried to make it as seamless as a process as possible. So people can just come in when they'd like to, without having to go through that. In addition to the emotional support, like I said earlier in talking about our mission, we do provide financial services and supplies for people as they're going through cancer. And for those two areas, they just need to get a referral from their oncologist. And we work with most oncologists in Greenville, so they know exactly how to send a referral to us, or they can always call us and ask us to send a request to their doctor. But the referral is only required for those supplies and financial assistance. Anything on the emotional support side does not require a referral.
Do you allow people from other counties to receive the services?
So for the supplies and the financial services, we serve Greenville and Pickens County. But for our emotional support services, we will see people in other counties, especially if their counties do not offer the services that we do.
The bereavement support group, our bereavement connection group that you offer, I like the way that you use connection. How does someone find out about that? Is it referral, or is it because their family member has received services from the Neighborhood Cancer Connection?
Yes, that's a good question. So it's open to people of all types of losses. It does not have to be specifically cancer related. It does not have to be a family that we were already serving. It's interesting because I find out that people hear about us in a variety of ways. Sometimes it's through a hospice house. Sometimes it's through a listing that they see somewhere that it includes that we have a bereavement group. But, like I said, there's no referral required. We just, as soon as somebody arrives, we'll kind of give them a little brief orientation before the group starts. They have very minimal paperwork that they can complete, and then they can start right away.
Could you just give us an idea of what a support or connection group might experience might be like?
Yes. And I will mention that ours is an open format model. So it's, people can start whenever they want. and continue for as long as they want. So there will be people in there that are, maybe have experienced loss at different times. I'm thinking now, like, I have someone in our group right now who I think it was 2 weeks ago he lost his spouse, and then I have somebody in there who lost her mother 4 years ago. So, there's no type of guidelines on or requirement on when you experienced your loss. But when someone comes to group, we usually try to begin with kind of a mindfulness meditation to begin with. And then we definitely take time for everyone to check in and talk about what they're experiencing at that particular moment in regards to their grief. So it's really a lot of sharing and also a lot of people giving support to one another. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about people being in different places with their loss, because, someone who maybe has, been grieving a little bit longer can help someone who's just had a loss in their life. So that's really the beauty that we see. And it just really gives people that opportunity for connection with other people who are experiencing similar types of grief in their lives. Many times when people come to see us, one of the things they say is, I just want to talk to somebody who understands, who gets it. And so this is a group of people that provide that to each other. Now, as one of the counselors on staff, I do sprinkle in some knowledge about the grief process that I hope is helpful, because I think people are also looking for that as well. I certainly bring a lot of information from Dr. Hoy, who I know that you have interviewed before, and I've been lucky enough to attend some of his seminars. And we have a book that we loosely follow from Dr. Wolfelt, if you're familiar with his work. The Wilderness of Grief. We use that as just a bit of a reference as we're going through the grief process.
The integrative services that you offer, specifically, you mentioned art. Do you utilize that in group, or is that separate?
We do at times. We do. It's not necessarily every group, just because sometimes people come in and they need to talk. They need to really talk. And so we might decide not to do something in that group for, in terms of creativity or art. But many times we will start group, like I said, either with a mindfulness activity or maybe a brief art activity. I know last year around the holidays, we made votive candles for people's loved ones so they could remember them at the holidays using that votive candle, and they placed charms on that candle that held meaning for them, for their loved one, that represented their loved one. So that's just one example, but we do try to do a good mix of allowing people to share and talk, but also, like I said, have other integrative or alternative ways of expressing their emotions too.
Katie, I really appreciate you sharing all of this information in such a short amount of time. There's such wonderful gifts that you offer to the community.
To learn more about the Neighborhood Cancer Connection of Greenville County, go to nccgreenville.org or call 864-232-8439.